What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel, and Happy New Year. It is now 2025, so that's pretty awesome. I just want to give, first of all, a huge thanks to everybody who came to support this channel over the past couple weeks anyway. I think before Christmas I started off with like 11 subs or something like that, and we have shot up over 50. So for a brand new channel, I feel like that's incredible, and thank you all so much for that. With that, my brother is going to be the one to start this video off, so I'm going to cut it over to that. Again, thank you all so much, and let's get to the video.
Hi, I'm somebody. Probably confusing you since I'm not Austin. I also don't know what the name of the channel is off the top of my head. So anyways.
Welcome back to What's That Tech?
We've been debating switching some stuff over to liquid cooling, you know, closed loop, DIY. One of the problems we had is we're looking at a GPU here that's a 4090. It's a PNY. Austin will give you the details later, or he's going to flash it up on the screen. That's fine. Problem was, he said there was no water block available for it. So I got on the internet, started searching around, and some Reddit post said, hey, there is one that will fit. So here it is, supposedly. This is from Bisky. And I hope I said that correctly. And according to some people on the internet, this thing will fit the... Here's the title of the graphics card.
I'm going to jump in for just a second. The one we have here is the base model PNY Verto triple fan. There's nothing overclocking. There's no RGB to it or whatsoever. There is absolutely no water block on the market, period. For my specific card.
Maybe this.
This one might fit it, but it's not for this card. This one is for the actual, you can read it off.
This is the N-PNY 4090-X GPU water block and backplate for the PNY GeForce RTX 4924 GB XLR8 Gaming Verto Epic X RGB OC. But according to a couple of people on Reddit, this will fit. They also said that an NVIDIA one will fit, except for it's a little bit short, and so a little bit of silicon's exposed. But they said this one ought to fit all the way. So what do we got inside here? Well, we got the shipping order, so you don't need to see those details. Matters needing attention. Okay, yeah. That's telling you what kind of coolant not to use. Everyone's favorite, thermal paste. I hate... I did. I held it. I went like, let me hear it. Just look. Thermal paste. Generic thermal paste.
Lance is not used to an overhead camera.
We got a short little instruction thing. Product parameters. And yeah, that gives us details. There you go. You can steal the code and register everything yourself. It's a little blurry, so good luck. Oh, it actually sends some tools and everything and some little... caps for the water ports and, the screws and some washers. That's pretty cool. Well, let me see if I can play with these now and lose them in the carpet, Little screws, some other screws and washers. Fun stuff. Port plugs. He told me I had to unbox this because if Austin gets the 5000 series and we might... Oh, no. See, I'm already losing screws. They're inside there. They're extra screws. But if he gets the 5000 series, the 4090 might go into the studio computer to help with the recording and editing and stuff. Product quality certification. Woohoo. And this looks like it's probably the back plate. I'll open that up in a moment.
Yeah, this was his Christmas present, apparently. He told me to get him this since I had no idea what to get him.
And here's the top plate, the water block itself. This is the first time I've actually seen or messed with one of these things. Here's a I/O port plate, because theoretically this is going to slim up the card a whole lot. And some thermal strips, tape. Paste, whatever you want to call it. See, I'm so smart. I know everything about all this stuff. Wonderful little box. I like boxes. It's one of those good, sturdy boxes. Do you like boxes? I like boxes. I like boxes. I'm talking to this camera, which is a silly thing to do, but hey. Let's open this up. See the way I just savor the process of opening by just ripping it open. Oh, there's a nice little piece of steel, Pretty cool. Has the name on there and everything. And has all this. It means something to somebody. You know, these plates are handy because I guess it helps redirect some of the temperature on the bottom of the card. At least that's what I understand. Now, why on earth does this need to be in a Ziploc bag? I don't know. But, hey, I guess you've got a free Ziploc bag to use afterwards. Kind of looks like Mylar. Anyways, and got the new plate. That might be a difference. I don't know if these are the same ports that you have on your card or not. But I think you only have one HDMI and 3 display ports. Hopefully it's not backwards. But if that's the problem, I can if that was the only issue, I could fix that. Oops, I ripped the label. Oh, well, hopefully that doesn't matter. We're hoping that, you know, these packages get to be thrown away and that this, oh my goodness, look at all this. What is this? So I'm guessing this is for RGB. Does that seem about right?
I would imagine so.
I'm not a big RGB person. Oh, look at that. It's all pretty acrylic or whatever. You know, I forget what the materials are, but
It's really cool.
I wasn't expecting to be doing all this, but hey, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's sort of what's in here. These caps can go on there. So, you know, I mean, heck, you know, just for fun, I mean, I can just go ahead and kind of lightly put that in there, and that'll keep dust from getting in there while we mess around with stuff.
Now I've got to do the dreadful thing, which I'll probably do that on camera, at least part of it, and that's completely disassemble my 4090, which I am extremely nervous about. So wish us luck, because that 4090, this channel and our gaming channel both depend on that card.
I got the PlayStation Plus. I'll just dig out the PS5 for a while.
But yeah, next month the 5090 comes out, and I want to try to get a hold of it. So if I do, then this is going in his PC. That's why it's his Christmas present.
Oh no, I'm getting fingerprints all over it. Probably have to clean that up with a little rubbing alcohol. So hopefully it works, and if it does, you'll be able to get yourself a slightly more budget card and know that you can still water block cool it. Yay.
All right, so now we are to the part that I absolutely dread, to take apart this 4090. So let's get to it. Let's take it apart and see if this new one fits.
Break, 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 break.
Don't you even. Okay, so while editing this video, I realized that I had a major moment of crap, because you have two amateurs here that are about to completely disassemble a 4090 GPU, very expensive graphics card, and then attempt to reassemble a water block that we have no clue is actually going to even work. So with that being said, I'm going to fast forward the little bits here because we have no idea what we're doing. It also saves time off the video of me trying to figure out how to get this thing taken apart. So I'll leave any important bits, I'll slow those down and show it off, and then go back to speeding it up if I need to, but I just wanted to throw that in the edit. All right, let's get to it. So just so you know, there's like a screw here and a screw here. On the other side, you're gonna have 3 screws on it. One here, one here, one here. Assuming I'll probably have to also remove the backplate to this, because we have our own backplate. So there's a bunch of screws on this, and I'm assuming that these screws also hold in the pipes and stuff on there. You have to unhook these fan controllers as well, fan and the LED for this, and then of course you have to take off the backplate here. So unfortunately, my hat was blocking the overhead cam to show you me pulling the cords out of the PCB. But once you flip the fan cage over, like I showed there, all you do is literally pull up on the cords and they will pull right out. If you're curious about the underside of the fan case, this is the underside. I feel like I should have gloves on for this, like some sort of, I don't have any, but you know, those surgeon gloves or something. I feel weird. Houston, we might have a problem over here. I would very much recommend to go get an iFixit kit from Best Buy before doing this. Just a heads up.
Or if you already have your own kit, be careful about who you let borrow it.
All right, so I'm back again, and instead of listening to dead air and whatnot, I'm just going to show you right fast. So you got one screw right here. There's a total 9 screws on the back of the plate here, but one's right here. Then you got another one down below right here where my mouse at. Just watch the hand on the mouse. Then you've got one right here, another one down here. Then you got 2 next to the heatsink bracket. You got one right there and one up here. And then you've got this one and then these last 2, those last 2 right there. And those, once you remove all those, as you can see, the plate lifts right up. Well, here's the back plate for it. We got the back plate off. First time I've actually seen the back of this card. It's much smaller. There's the card right there. The rest of this is just all heatsink. That's coming off. It's amazing how small this thing can get. A little bit dusty under there. Not too bad. We'll just lay this aside and continue on.
A big shout out to Copper the dog, who loves to keep the computers in his house interesting with all of his dandruff and dust.
Okay, so with this one, all you have to do is just take out these 4 screws and that's it. There's one behind this piece of tape right here. My piece of tape just ripped right in half, and I don't know if that causes a warranty void or not. Just in case, just a heads up. But once you remove those screws that hold the bracket onto the heatsink on the other side of the board, it should just pop free. It did for me. But yeah. You know, these post videos after trying to get this edited is a little weird, but anyway, that bracket that holds the back of your video card into your computer also needs to come off. There's still the 4 screws on the IO port area right there on that bracket. So make sure you take all 4 of these screws right here out and then pull that bracket off. And then I'll explain what happens actually in the video now. So let's get to that. Okay, so now we are down to the bare PNY 4090 graphics card, and I am trying to figure out how to get the card loose, and I'm not sure why it's not coming loose right now because I got the screws. So my only guess is that it's stuck to the paste right now, so I might have to pry it loose from the paste in order to get this thing off of here. Yep, that's what it is. Very carefully. I think that's what it is. I gotta be super careful. We'll be back momentarily. Alright, so we kind of screwed up and we lost like 20 minutes of footage because I stopped recording earlier because I was trying to figure this out, and we completely forgot to hit recording again while we were thinking, hey, is this going to work or not? So let's just get to it. This right here obviously is the card by itself without any heatsink on it whatsoever. If you're curious of how I got it off, it is what I thought. I just had to sit there and wiggle the heatsink back and forth because the gel pads here, they were
paste.
Thermal paste. Well, I think it's it's gel pads that they put into
and the
it.
thermal pads.
Yeah. But one of them up here where my finger's pointing to, that was kind of stuck on it a little bit. All I did was literally rock it back and forth a little bit, just really easy. So if you do this at home, do it real easy. Just kind of rock it gently back and forth, all up and down it, and eventually it'll pry loose, and that's all it is. So there was no extra screws or anything like that. Now, as far as this stuff right here being compatible, it is. From what we can tell, it is 100% compatible. Here's the back plate. Okay, so if I lay the card right on top of the back plate, and I'll raise it to the camera so you can see better. Let me do this. Let me stand up first because I don't want to ruin my card. That would really suck. It is still expensive. So as you can see, the screw holes line up.
Look at all that dust.
There's a lot of dust. Let me find that screw hole over here. Oh, it's there. It's not a... You can't see straight through on the screw holes, but that is the screw hole there. It's lined up. It's lined up over here. And then this part down here is good to go. The one in the middle is good. This one over here is good. They are all perfectly lined up with the back plate. I'm going to let Lance get back in here and talk about the last 15 minutes.
So I brought my amateur expertise into all this. And yes, that's a contradiction. I know. But basically, I from, good old Jimmy rigging kind of style of knowledge, I pretty much just kind of took these two side by side, and I thought, boy, where those thermal tape or thermal pad spots line up, it looks pretty good. And I even got pretty sophisticated. Brought out a little tiny tool, and I was checking and measuring where these things kind of lined up. looks pretty good. And then there was a little moment where I got a little worried because I took this and set it on top. Voila, looks very pretty. Everything is lined up just the way it needs to be lined up. But I thought I'd seen videos where these little objects in here, these little round things, which may or may not be capacitors, I'm not entirely sure. I thought that's where people had applied paste. So I even checked to make sure that between the two objects there wasn't a slight, about a 5mm offset. And yeah, I checked and it's good. Where the thermal pads go are over top of these chipsets. And luckily, everything here lines up. We're happy about that. Now you might notice that there is a little situation here in the back that I'm just now noticing where, and I don't want to lift this up, so we will have to get creative, a little creative with these cable spots.
We don't need those.
We don't need these, so that's going to be fine. We're going to ignore that, and there's access to these, so if these are important, it's fine, because we can still get to those.
Yeah, those right here, one is for the fans, and the other one is for the PNY logo to light up on it. So we don't need these ports. You don't need that at all. All that you need to worry about is plugging this into power, which plugs in over here.
What's this for?
Don't know, never had it plugged up.
That's some kind of jumper, I guess, then.
I don't know.
Maybe for overclocking.
SLI maybe, if that's still a thing.
Oh, that voids the warranty if that's removed.
Oh, gotcha.
So anyways, we're happy. It looks good. It looks like it's going to work. And so if you are curious about getting this particular PNY model and go, boy, I wish I could water cool it because it gets hot, you now can. And what I was explaining earlier, but Austin wasn't recording and I didn't know it, reason why we are doing this is we are in a 9x12 room with a 4K TV and super ultra wide 2K monitor, two i9 Intel processors, the 4090, a 3070, 4K HDMI capture card. And funny thing is, when you come into this room and it's nice and cool at 72 degrees and you turn on everything and you play a game like, well, just any kind of new game that can support 4K and ultra graphics and stuff, within an hour this room is 90 degrees and the hardware actually does start bugging out, causing black screens, errors, faults, throttling. So all of this is being done to try and manage the heat a little bit better and get it under control so we can just exchange it to one spot and then vent it out of the room, both for our comfort and to save the longevity of some of this equipment. And as far as this thing goes, let's face it, this little unit here, super adorable compared to, the great big monster heat sink that was in here, that would be in here otherwise, with its fans and everything else. So that's going to look cool. I'm going to admit it, and I'm not a big computer aesthetics person. That thing's going to look cool.
You know what I kind of want to do? Now that this is already taken apart and stuff like that, wouldn't mind getting a just one radiator and hooking it up. And then when I get the 5090, just you can take that radiator off when you do the all-in-one or the full loop and go from there.
Well, we have an extra radiator. How are you going to pump into it?
I'd have to get a pump. But what I'm getting at is if we did it now, I could afford, I think, to do that now because it's not a full system loop. It's not two radiators. It's not all the fittings and stuff like that. I don't care if it's just two flexible wires going to it because it doesn't have to be pretty right now.
Hoses.
Oh, yeah, hoses. Did I say wires?
Yes, you did. All right.
But yeah, two hoses. If I did all that right now, I mean, that would be a cheaper end thing to do. And go ahead and do it, and it's already installed and ready to go. So when I get the 5090, you can just take it apart, plug it in your computer, and get your full loop going.
Well, if you want to do that, we could do a quick, dirty setup today. We already have a radiator. It's not a great one, but it'll work. All you need is a reservoir and pump and some cheap flex line.
And where do we get that?
Well, we can get the flex line and some of that stuff at a hardware store, but you're gonna have to figure out the reservoir and couplings from a computer store.
The easiest way to do it is either go to that place we got the computer from or go to that PC center, whatever it's called.
And that is going to be it for this particular video. A little bit of an abrupt end to it. That is not how I anticipated it going. I did continue on for like the next minute or two saying, hey, thanks for watching, yada, yada, yada. But I didn't intend on what happens next, which is after we went to Micro Center. So if you're curious and you want to see what we actually got from Micro Center, which is more than we intended to go get, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification icon so you see when the next video comes up. I still have to work on editing all the rest of the footage. I have the footage done, I just didn't edit it yet, so that's my next task now. And yeah, you all will get to see either a full build being complete or a massive failure. Yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like it, leave any comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.